All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar and the kind of, I guess, mini training, if you will. So, kind of the goal of a lot of these webinars that we do is to provide a lot of value for you guys and a lot of information on how to follow up, how to convert, um, who we are, what we do, lots of different things, right? So I get questions all day. What is the social agent? What is LSM? Who is the social agent? Who is LSM? Can I talk to some of your clients? What do your clients say? How do they convert? Because I have people that post up reviews, and for example, yesterday and today, um, they'll post up. I got 10 leads, and I was able to convert 5 of them over to the lender. And then I've got agents that go, man, I got 40 leads, and I haven't talked to anyone, right? And that's a problem, right? And it's all going to vary market to market, right? The leads are generated the same way, but markets react differently to some leads. Like Texas, we get lots of leads on an ad, and in Colorado we get a totally separate type of situation where it's much more expensive per lead, things like that. But today, so here's kind of the itinerary that we're going to do. What is the social agent? Then we're going to have CJ Evans talking. He's one of my trainees. He is in Atlanta, talking about what he does for follow-up and how he converts. We're going to introduce Hassan May, Riggs, and Smart Auto and who they are and why we work with them. Mike Nelson is with us. Mike is one of my trainees. He will also be talking about his follow-up process. Patrick Connell is my business partner in Lead Source Management and Realty Solutions. He'll give you guys a quick overview of, what Realty Solutions is, because we've had a lot of those questions. Ian Hilario was supposed to be with us. Ian is one of my clients in Las Vegas, and actually, as of yesterday, joined Realty Solutions in Las Vegas. Welcome aboard. He can't make it today, but Raquel Reyna is going to take his place. She actually posted an updated review. She's been a trainee of mine for years. And she also now she's been working for Realty Solutions in Houston since almost the beginning. And then we will cap it off with Luis and Stefan talking about the changes that are coming to Lead Source Management and how we work with Smart Auto and how we are all integrating with that process as well. Guys, you guys can hear me? I'm assuming everybody can hear me.
Yes.
Hassan? All right, perfect.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me start this off with kind of the big question in the room. What is the social agent? For those of you who don't know, and just FYI, guys, Stefan, where did he go? Did Stefan drop off? No, there he is. I see him. All right, Stefan's going to man the chat, so if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them on the Zoom chat. Keep in mind, guys, that we're also live in the group, so if you're asking questions on the Facebook Live, it may take us a minute to go back and check those. So, Stephanie, could you please make sure you have a screen up for questions from both the Zoom meeting and the Facebook Live, and feel free to interrupt anyone at any time to answer those questions. All right, guys. So I encourage you to stay the full length of the webinar, or at least catch it later, because there's going to be a lot of very valuable information throughout the course of this webinar. So now, what is the social agent? The social agent always has and always will be a solo training, a one-time fee training that teaches you how to generate leads on your own, how to build ads that work, how to control your marketing, basically. What I do is I train you either via one-on-one or video, and I do all of the work for you. I set up an ad or ads, depending on which package you choose, to get you started with lead generation. That's a lot of the reviews that you're seeing in the group and where those are coming from. If you're a solo agent or a small team, that is where that training will come in handy. Over the years, there has been a growing need for I don't know how to say it, mid-level teams and higher level teams and brokerages that have 5 or more or 10 or more agents under their belt that need a little bit more of than just a lead generation system, but more so a digital marketing department. That's kind of where lead source management is taking a turn, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. If you are a solo agent or a small team and you have questions about the social agent training, feel free to just message me direct. I like to think I'm approachable, so I will respond back and send you the information that you need, and we can go from there. That said, I am going to introduce CJ Evans. CJ is one of my 17,000 plus trainees, but of course, out of all of those people that you deal with, same as with you guys and your real estate clients, there's always those more memorable people that will take my advice, people that, and Hassan, you get it, right? There's people on your platform that they kind of just ride the platform and do the basics, and then there's those people that really take the bull by the horns and work the system. CJ is one of those people. So is Mike Nelson, and so is Raquel Reyna. CJ, why don't you start by telling everyone how you guys do your follow-up, where you start, where you end, where you were before you started the social agent, and where you are now, or how the social agent has kind of helped you move forward. And then we'll move on to Hassan after that.
Okay, cool. Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, cool. All right, so yeah, I mean, before kind of the social agent and Hassan kind of came into the business, we didn't really have much of a system at all. It's just kind of how most real estate agents kind of operate the businesses. What comes in, we'll deal with. If it's a kind of a follow-up thing, especially a long-term follow-up thing, we didn't have an option for it, so it kind of just fell by the wayside. And we just hope they kind of came back. So. But once we got into paid advertising, like whether it been print or direct mail, started spending a lot of money, and we realized it wasn't actually coming back. So I had actually been a spectator in the group, as most people had, until they actually joined. And then we finally just kind of pulled the trigger. And what it allowed us to do was learn a new form of marketing, and then also something that I can go in, because I'm an analytical person myself. So I want to see the numbers. I want to see what's being spent. I want to see what converted. So that actually allowed us to get leads at a very, very low cost, and have a greater return. And then also using Hassan and Smart Alto allowed us to follow up with those leads and keep them in the pipeline. So now we're seeing leads from 6 months ago come back and buy houses with us that, I mean, honestly, we kind of forgot about, because the follow up is on autopilot.
Yep, that's kind of how it happens. So, CJ, correct me if I'm wrong. You were a trainee of mine before we entered the realm of that we know as Smart Auto now, right?
Correct.
Right. So, guys, just for those of you who don't know, I don't. It's hard to say. It's hard to say this without it sounding weird. I don't accept money to promote anything in the group, as you see with a lot of other stuff out there. Anytime you ever see me pushing a product in the group or recommending something, it's not really so much pushing as it is me recommending. For example, there was a moment where I'm going to avoid saying the names of these companies, guys. If you were with me before, you know the names of them. But there was a time when I recommended another follow-up service that was mostly, I think, all text-based. At the time, it was a great service, and that was the best that we had at that time, right? Things grow, things move, relationships change. That changed, and then came along the next situation, which was more of a they will call your leads ISA service, and it was great. It was a great system while it lasted. Unfortunately, things changed in people's lives. They moved on, and that went away. And then what came Smart Auto, and Hassan just would not leave me alone. Just kept on. I'm just kidding. One of my agents referred me over to Hassan, and to be quite honest with you, I put Smart Auto and that recommendation to the side for like 4 months before, right, Patrick? It was a while that Jennifer was trying to get us to use Smart Auto before we ever really paid attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we started using them in our own brokerage, and it was, I mean, the transformation was phenomenal. We at that time we had well over 100 agents, and it's very difficult. I'm sure CJ can tell you, as a person who has a team, it's very difficult to manage 5 or 10 people following up on leads. When you have 100 plus, it becomes almost impossible. Um, Smart Auto changed that for us, and that's why you guys see me kind of pushing Smart Auto and saying, "Hey, if you need follow up, talk to Smart Auto." I don't. I want to make it very clear to you guys, because I've heard some rumblings in the background. I don't get paid anything when you guys sign up for Smart Auto. Um, the only thing that of monetary value that gets thrown around is the discount that you guys get for being a social agent client. That's it. There's no money getting kicked back to me. Their service is great, and I highly recommend you all taking a look at that if you are struggling with um, your follow-up service. I mean, with your follow-up system. CJ, just a quick question: is there anything else you'd like to add um, there? And is it okay if I show your ads manager on the screen?
Yeah, sure.
You're okay if I pull it up? Okay, I just want to check
Yeah.
before I go doing it. Guys, so this is kind of a look at CJ's ads manager, and the reason why I'm looking sideways is I have my laptop with the camera over here, and I have my main screens over here. So I'm kind of looking off. Like, as you guys can see, some of these have been redone because of the new changes that have come to Facebook. And the things that we have to choose their housing ads, so your old ads will not work. You have to conform them to the new rules. If you're a trainee of mine, you've either already received that video or you should receive it soon. Um, but like, let's take a look at like the lifetime here. So like, CJ's been with me for a while. So this is his first time homebuyer grant ad. They have a grant going on or had a grant going on in Georgia. 711 leads. Lord have mercy, dude. I didn't realize it was that many
Yeah, man,
already.
that ad went crazy.
$3.83 a lead. Now, keep in mind, guys, that's going to change from area to area. I know some of you see your lead cost at like $10, $12. It's apples and oranges when you're running a first-time home buyer ad in a market with a $300,000 average price point versus when you're running a list of homes under 1 million ad in the Bay Area, right? So totally different worlds, totally different types of ads, totally different times of year, totally different results. Thank you for letting me show that, CJ. The last question is, how long have you been on? I don't have the date that you signed up with me, but how long have you been on my program, and how many deals have you closed so far?
It's probably been about 2 years now. I've been coming up.
Yeah,
I'm not sure the month, but I mean, we closed a lot of deals. I mean, just out of that 711 batch, I know last year we closed a little around like 120 deals, and we don't actually run ads that often. Like until
yeah.
I think a couple of days ago when I asked you to kind of help me get the ad back live, we hadn't actually ran an ad in 3 months because we were just turning over leads from the previous pool. We started getting referrals for those clients that closed out. So we actually turned it off because we made changes to the staff personnel, and we actually didn't have enough people just to actually service. So we turned the ad off. And like I said, we haven't ran an ad for probably about 3 months. So now, when we're going into holiday time, we saw a great pool come in last year when we ran holiday ads around November, Thanksgiving, Christmas time, since people are at home. So now we just decided to turn them back on. But I mean, yeah, it's been great, and like I said, we've had it off for a while.
Nice. Now, let me point this out to those of you who may be discouraged, because I think the problem is a lot of people will start a program and then they will get discouraged by what they think is lack of results. Guys, it's very hard to get a lead in and immediately have them get pre-approved and do a deal. I mean, this is the biggest purchase of someone's life, right? All of these people, they have to come in. You have to follow up. You have to nurture these people. Sometimes you may not see a deal for 3 months, but as you continue to be consistent with lead generation, and if you have the right follow-up in place, eventually you reach a tipping point, right? Think about it just like a wheel. right? You're down here, you start, and it starts to go up slowly, you reach the top, and then at some point you start to go like this, right? And those deals start to come and they keep going. And just like CJ said, you start to get referrals from those people, and then your business starts to expand, right? That's the hard part for people. The reason why so many agents fail in this business is because they either aren't lead generating, they're not following up or nurturing their leads, or they're not being consistent. Right. That's the biggest issue I see with people. Hassan is
Real
probably
quick.
better equipped to tell you guys about this. So, guys, I'm going to introduce Hassan May Riggs. He is the CEO of Smart Alto, one of our biggest partners. I'm going to let him chat with you guys about who they are, what they do, and how they integrate with us to help you all close deals.
Hey everyone, how are you all doing? I'm excited to be here with you today. Appreciate it, William and CJ. We got a great group here.
Absolutely.
And Raquel just showed up and she's looking really jazzy. She got the sunglasses on and everything. So
Team No Filter. I like
Team No Filter.
So Hassan, just so you know, Raquel is one of my agents she's one of my trainees, but she's also one of my agents for Realty Solutions in Houston.
Okay, all right, great. Yeah, I love it. The first thing I want to say is I'm excited to chat with you all today, and also kind of check William a bit because he's way too humble with this. You all know William. You've been knowing him for a very long time. And I come from a little bit of a different background, right? Because I used to be an ISA, but then I spent most of my professional career in doing digital marketing, sales, and then mergers and acquisitions. And for the past 3 to 4 years, I've been in tech, right? And so my experience in like running a technology company, I've had the privilege to become friends with a lot of influential people in tech. So the founders of Instacart, the founders of Zenefits, the founders.
Hey, guys, are you guys still
I gotta
here?
say,
Oh, there you are. We lost you for a second there, Hassan. You froze up for about 2 or 3 seconds after you
2 or 3
mentioned the
seconds.
founders of Instacart. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the buddies with the founders of Instacart, founders of Stripe, the founders of Zenefits and Rippling, all of these companies, I have never seen so many positive and authentic reviews of any company than I have with the social agent. Period. Bottom line. It's you absolutely, when you take a look at the results that other people are getting and the results that they're sharing, it's like nothing I've ever seen before in my life. And I've seen a lot of really successful companies grow really quickly. But the fact that so many people are having great results is at least worth you believing in yourself and giving it a try if you haven't already. Because you can take a look around the internet and you can see people with like these testimonials which have quotes beside them in someone's face, and half of those testimonials are fake and somebody like just wrote them in themselves. The reviews that folks have on Facebook within the social agent group, you can't fake that stuff. You can't fake it. It's like real and it's authentic, and you can reach out to some of the people. So I just wanted to start off saying that.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and I've shared that with you kind of privately before as well. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, you know how I am, man. I'm outside of the group. I'm just kind of head down and
Yeah.
I just do my work. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
my goal has always been customer service. You know, taking care of my customers, and sometimes it's pushed me to a point where I'm just exhausted. I mean,
Yeah.
Patrick's tried to get me to change a little bit of how I do things because he thinks I'm overworked and I get too stressed out. But and we're working on that stuff, and that's what a lot of the changes that we're going to talk about today are about. But right now, this is your time, so let's talk about Smart Auto, where you guys were in the beginning, where you are now. You know how we've been able to work together to grow together, because we have done a phenomenal job at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what we're doing to kind of help agents close more deals?
Great. So a couple of things. Again, my name is Hassan Riggs. I'm the founder and CEO at Smart Alto, and we have real people, not artificial intelligence, not chatbots, but real people whose only job is to qualify and convert your leads into 15-minute phone appointments for you. So when you get new leads in from Facebook, the social agent, we will immediately text message that lead within 2 minutes, follow up with them, qualify them, ask them all the questions that you would have to. Right. So when are they looking to buy? Have they been pre-approved? Do they have a pre-qualification letter? What's their bedrooms and baths? We'll qualify that lead for you. And then once they're ready to have a conversation, we'll pass those folks off to you. We can even book appointments on your calendar if you would like to. So there's a couple things that I would like to share. First is I'm in a really unique position because we have a lot of clients who have never heard of the social agent, and they get leads from Zillow, from Bo Leads, from Ylopo, from you can name the place. They get leads from different places. I can say this with full confidence, there is no other lead source that gets more leads into Smart Alto than the people who come from the social agent. Far and beyond. There's absolutely just no comparison of it. The folks who come through and they've taken Williams training and they're familiar with kind of how things work within the Facebook platform, those people by far get more leads than any other lead source that's out there in the marketplace. And so we started working together, obviously, with the Realty Solutions team, qualifying leads and setting appointments. And then once that kind of pilot and case study went well, we started to work more closely with people from the social agent, and it's been great. You know, some of the folks who use obviously both systems are watching us in the Facebook group or they're on this call today, and people regularly close deals, and you don't have to go very far to see some of the results because the proof is in the pudding. And there's not one thing that I can say about Smart Alto that's going to be more influential and more impactful than what our customers say about Smart Alto and the power that we have with social agent.
Awesome. Thank you, Hassan. And guys, so just like he said, right, there's nothing he could ever say that'll be more powerful than what the clients, what the customers say. Same way I kind of run the social agent, right? It's the reason why I'm never in the group saying, all right, guys, 10% off, right? This quarter. I don't do that kind of stuff. It's something I've never done. I let my work speak for itself, and the reviews that people put up in the group, I really appreciate those things because it tells the story of what the social agent is and how it works, and it can help you make the decision to either train with me or sign up for any particular service without me having to push you in the background. Hey, you ready to go? Hey, you ready to roll? Just about every trainee, not just about, literally every trainee that I've ever worked with will tell you that anytime they ever messaged me and asked me for information on my training, I sent it to them and they never heard from me again unless they messaged me and said, hey, I'm ready to go. It's just because that's just how I operate, and I always will operate that way.
Hey, William.
Yeah.
There's a question from Michael Canton. This is for Hassan Riggs. It popped up in the Q&A. It says, if Smart Alto is attempting to do all the communication, what is my job as a realtor if we aren't getting any appointments set?
Hassan?
So Smart Alto attempting to do all the communication. What is my job as a realtor if we aren't getting any appointments set? So we will immediately follow up with the lead within 2 minutes when the lead comes in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, right? So we'll immediately follow up with those leads. Once those leads come through, the very best thing that you can do is allow us to text message those leads to see if we can get a response from them. And here's why. When a new lead comes through, and this is what everyone is doing in tech, is what people are doing in healthcare, it's just really far behind in the real estate space, something that we're bringing to the real estate space. When people come through, one of the reasons you want to text message that person first is you want to know, do I have the right person? Is this the right telephone number? Is this person a real live person? And you want to do that with the least amount of effort that it takes from you or someone on your team as possible. Because the most highly valuable thing that you have in real estate and in face-to-face sales, whether it's, you know, selling automotive, oil and gas, airplanes, real estate, whatever, is a person having another conversation with a person. It's the most highly valuable thing that you have. But if you're picking up the phone and immediately calling someone that you're not quite sure, does this person want to talk right now? Is this going to go to voicemail? Are they going to send me to voicemail? Is it the wrong number? So let us talk to that person first. If after a while we continue text messaging that person, and you're not getting a response, feel free to pick up the phone and call them. It's absolutely nothing wrong with calling them. You just want your job as an entrepreneur. And most of the people on, I think everyone on this call and most of the people we're talking to in the group, you're all entrepreneurs. Your job, your number one job as an entrepreneur is to better understand how to utilize your resources. You got all these resources, time, money, energy, focus. How do you properly utilize your resources? What should you prioritize? And that's one of the things that we help you do. Smart.
Thank you for that response. Now, I already thought this, but I wasn't sure, but Patrick just confirmed it for me. That question was from an actual LSM client. Michael Canton is an active LSM client. And guys, for those of you who don't know what LSM is, it's Lead Source Management, leadsourcemanagement.com. That's the side of my business that is the, we do it for you, the monthly service where we charge you monthly. You get a guaranteed number of leads. You get a Smart Alto account as a part of that. I'll go over exactly what the differences are here in just a little bit, but just for those of you who are curious, that's what that is. So let's go ahead and move on. Mike Nelson, thank you very much, Hassan, for that information. I appreciate it. Feel free to stick with us for the rest of the training, but I know you're a busy man. So if you, I'm sorry, for the rest of the webinar, excuse me. I know you're a busy guy, so feel free to jump off if you need to. We appreciate it. And any questions that you guys may have for Hassan that he isn't able to answer right now, we will go back through the Q&A when the webinar is over. We'll get answers to those questions and we'll post them when we repost the webinar. All right, so Mike, thanks for joining us, guys. Mike Nelson is also one of my trainees. He's done very well on the program, so I want to let him speak to you guys about what he does for follow-up, what area he's in, and how he converts. Mike, is it okay for me to show your ads manager?
Yeah, absolutely will. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So I'd like you to just kind of tell everybody like where you were in the beginning, when you found the social agent, what your results have been and how it has helped you.
Sure. So I am in the Minneapolis area up here. I moved to Minneapolis April of 2018. My fiance at the time, now my wife, has been in real estate with Remax for north of 10 years. I decided that I wanted to jump in and get involved. Got my real estate license July of 2018. Started working at Keller Williams. Had no idea what I was doing, was floundering, trying to figure out what to do. And, just like any new real estate agent, doing every which way that I could, trying to get an angle that would work for myself. Stumbled across one of the guys that was in a class with me had mentioned that he stumbled into the social agent. Joined the group, took a look around, found the reviews, everybody was raving about it. Took a look through, asked a few people about it. Everyone was in love with what was going on. So I reached out to you, said, hey, how can we get started? I'd like to get, involved in this. I had talked to other groups as well because I was, still had a different full-time job. I was like, hey, how much would Bold Leads cost? What does Zillow run? What is Realtor.com? And none of that stuff is, naturally organic. They have an upcharge for all of the cost of this. So I signed up with you, and right away started getting leads in, and to the point where a lot of people, much like myself, I'm sure have encountered this. I had so many leads that I had to shut it down over and over again. I turned it on for a couple of weeks, turn it off. A 2-week span, a couple $100 of ad spend would bring in, 50 to 100 leads. and it was overbearing for a new agent at the time, and it was great because it ended up putting this whole new clientele under me potentially that could build a pipeline for years to come. And I'm grateful that I found that. And in terms of do you want me to kind of cover the follow-up that we go through on everything, Will?
Yeah, if you would, just real quick. Doesn't have to be an in-depth thing. Just kind of
No problem.
just to give everybody an idea of like what you're doing.
Yeah. So real quick on just follow up. Is second that they come in, that they give us the information over, you get an email, and that email's got a refreshed list of homes that goes out to them, and that's primarily what I'm writing is a list of homes ad that goes up to $300,000, and it gives them single family homes, 3 beds, 2 baths, 2 garages, and 20-mile radius of downtown Minneapolis. So it's a very large net of homes that goes out to everybody that signs up until we're able to collect information and start to get them on a real narrow scope of what they're looking for. So the second that we're able, develop these into warm leads and have them set, a price range criteria, an area that they're looking in, are they going out within a year? Once we get that data, we're going to build up an MLS search form that's more specific. And that goes out. Until then, they get that list of homes same day. But later on that day, I'm also building them an MLS search that's going to, let me know when they're going into it and taking a look within the MLS. And I'll continue to reach out from there.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. And guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Mike, feel free to post those in the Q&A if you're on the webinar itself, or if you're watching live in the group, feel free to post them. It's guys, we've got a lot of people between the 2 channels, so we will try our best to answer all of these as we can. And I'm sorry if you guys catch me looking away from the camera. Again, my laptop has the camera right here, and all my 2 screens are over here, so I'm kind of looking at data everywhere. So I'm not just doing it on purpose. You're kind of like off in La La Land, doing that. All right, okay. So Mike, again, thank you very much. All right, guys.
Can I jump in a question that was asked here?
Yeah.
I want to make sure everyone heard this, which was, how often does Smart Alto reach out? How many touches do they give per lead? And the answer is it's indefinite. So they're going to reach out in a way that's consistent but not annoying. This is Stefan, by the way. I should probably turn my video on.
Yes, you should, because you criticized me for never being on.
I sure did. Sorry, because I'm doing the same thing where I'm looking at 4 different shots. So yeah, that's something that's important just for you guys to know. I'll just a quick second just to let you know that they are going to reach out indefinitely. They're going to keep on nurturing these leads in a way that's consistent but not annoying. That's the best way I can tell you. Okay, so until the end of time, until they either convert into an appointment or they say, I've changed my mind or what have you.
Yeah, and let me add to that. You guys can control that, by the way, right? Like, so you have a follow-up script, or drip, so to speak, in Smart Alto. Let me clarify something for you. If a lead comes in, they are responded to by a human in the beginning, based on your script. If they don't respond, then they go on a cold drip, and those text messages go out, but they look like they're coming from you. They look like they're coming from an actual person. If a lead responds to one of those attempts to contact, that's when an ISA will pick the conversation back up, and then it will turn into a human to, ISA to client or lead conversation again. You can control whether that cold drip goes on for 100 touches over a year or 5,000 touches over a year. That's up to you. You could add, 3 texts a day on that cold drip for the remainder of the year or for the next 600 days or whatever. So guys, I don't know, it says anonymous attendee, so I don't know who asked that question, but that's the answer to your question about Smart Alto. Guys, next up we have Patrick. Again, thank you, Mike, for joining us and giving us that information. Next up we have Patrick Connell. Patrick is my business partner. Those of you who don't know, I actually met Patrick through the social agent. He was a trainee, worst one I've ever had in my life, by the way. I'm not even kidding. Turned in. I hate you too.
Thanks, Will. Jump off.
That makes me feel very good inside. Now, Patrick is my business partner with Realty Solutions and what you all know as LSM, Lead Source Management now. I wanted him on here to talk a little bit about Realty Solutions. Yes, I am going to shamelessly plug my real estate brokerage. But it's also because a lot of people, they start asking questions. I get this on my trainings a lot. Like, I didn't know you owned a brokerage. I didn't know you were in real estate. I didn't know you do that. Yes, I actively rehab properties. I do some small wholesaling and rehabbing. I am an active realtor, and I own Realty Solutions with Patrick, which I'm going to let him kind of come on and tell you guys about right now. So Patrick, take it away.
Sounds good. So before we jump into the brokerage stuff, I want to kind of address a couple of things that are questions that kind of typically occur, or things that need to be addressed inside of the lead generation space, as well as the brokerage space, and kind of see if I can address a couple of different things. So the first thing I want to say is and remind everybody is this: we are all real estate agents or brokers, but we are sales people. Our job is sales. And like any other sales job, every single day you should dedicate some of your time to doing lead generation. Now, whether that's online lead generation, working your sphere, working your referrals from past or current clients. At the end of the day, if you are in a sales job of any kind, in this case, real estate, and you're not doing lead generation at all, your pipeline's going to dry up. You're going to get a handful of sales from people that you know and that know you, and then that's it. You're going to fizzle out. That's why, upwards of 80% of real estate agents don't make it past their first 2 years. So I need to emphasize the fact that you have got to continue to lead generate every single day. Now, if that's running ads, if that's, like I said, working your network, whatever else, you need to be doing that.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick, when you're done with this, before you go into Realty Solutions, I have 2 questions I have to ask Mike before we move on. I missed them. Go ahead.
So the second thing, so always be lead generating. The second thing is that in this business, in this day and age, you have got to have systems in place to complement your lead generation. Now, whether that's a CRM that emails and text messages, whether it's a service that you pay to do that, whether you sit down with an Excel spreadsheet every day and track your stuff, which is very inefficient, but if that's how you want to do things, that's fine. But you have got to have systems in place to work these leads, no matter what the source is or where they come from, and follow up and give them what they need. Long gone are the days of real estate where, we hold all the access to all the listings and all that kind of stuff, and people have to come to us. So people are going to get the information. You got to have a value proposition to show people why you're better than somebody else, why you're better than their cousin Phil that they know. No offense to Phil's, but you got to have that out there. All right. And the final thing is this. We have all seen over the last year or so this transition of this business and technology coming in, and technology can be disruptive depending on the the particular area. For example, Netflix and Blockbuster and Amazon and all that different spaces. The one thing about real estate that's very unique is that real estate will always be a people business. Okay, people will always prefer to deal one-on-one with you as the agent. Show them homes, walk them through the process, so on and so forth. It's a very people-oriented business. So I remind people of that because, as we see things like iBuyers, come in, even though they make up a very, very small part of the market right now, people feel like they're expanding. As we see other lead generation options, things like companies that rhyme with Willow come in and do, do different things and start to, do some stuff that they said they were never going to do. Even Move Inc. that operates Realtor.com, they just bought OpCity, I believe, earlier this year or late last year. I think it was earlier this year, and are transitioning their lead model over to being, kind of like an OpCity setup where you don't necessarily pay a fee, or you pay a fee, but you also pay a percentage, in referrals. And so, the lead generation space, the online lead generation space is changing, and you just need to find something that works for you. And that you have a lot of control over, which is really, one of the benefits of the social training and whatnot. So I want to highlight those things. They're questions we get often. So I will pause, and we got a couple questions from Mike. I'll let him.
Yeah. I kind of moved on a little bit too quick from Mike. So Mike, I apologize, guys. I'm gonna let Mike tell you a couple more things that he wanted to get off his chest. And then I'm gonna address a couple of questions that came through for him. And then we're going to move back to Patrick for, what is Realty Solutions? Because I'm telling you guys, normally you guys know I don't even mention my brokerage on much of anything. because I don't want you to feel like I'm ramming it down your throat. But I've been asked a lot in the last 3 to 4 months, so I'm just gonna like have him give you kind of like what's the thing you use, Patrick? The 50,000-foot view of what it is and what we do there. But Mike, so go ahead and finish off what you were saying earlier. I apologize, man. I got scatterbrained and I cut you off too early.
No,
And then I'll knock out those questions for you as well.
you're fine. Start with the questions, or do you want me to add them?
No, go ahead and finish off what you were going to finish saying before about the like your numbers with the social agent, how like what you've gotten, what you've closed, and then we'll I'll get the questions out.
Yeah, in one way or another, whether it's directly from your leads or from your targeting, you've assisted in helping me close just shy of 10 deals, which is pretty awesome considering, I moved to Minneapolis with no spirit whatsoever and had to start from the ground up. So that's really, really cool. The other thing too is, I'm sorry, go ahead, Will.
What time frame was that in? Because I know that's going to come up as a
I
question.
think I signed up the end of September last year. So we're just north of a year, 13 months.
Nice. Perfect. All right, perfect. And what were you saying? Go ahead.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, Stu, when you looked at my ad page there, I really kicked up things a little bit this month. And the reason why, I found a group that does calls and gets in front of leads pretty quick. So I decided to give it a shot, turn up the leads, and found some pretty cool data as well. So we picked up 155 leads this month, and we changed it up where we changed the price point up to 300K. And off of those leads, we've had 118 conversations, found 27 warm leads. And a warm lead is defined as somebody that's, given the criteria of what they're looking for, the price range, looking to move within a year. And those warm leads accounted for, just north of potential $8 million in sales.
And those were those from leads that were like otherwise dead before, or you thought were dead?
No, these are brand new
leads.
Brand
new leads. Okay.
October 8th forward.
Sweet.
So yeah, October 8th forward, and our ad spend on those is, I think we're at $990 for the month.
Nice.
And obviously that that $8 million number in sales is not all going to come this way. But if we can get a good fraction of that and continue working that and pushing it, it's there. And the cool thing about those leads, where we changed up the list of homes, the price point, we found step-up buyers.
Nice.
So when step-up buyers, we're looking at people that are moving from, a condo, a townhome, and a smaller single-family home into, 3 and 4 bedrooms. So we can possibly get, listing leads out of this.
That's right. And I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm going to take this opportunity to say this because that reminded me of a question that I get a lot. Guys, I get this question a lot in the group. How come nobody is ever talking about seller leads? Let me tell you why. Okay. When people ask me, hey, William, do you have a seller's ad? Yes, I do have a direct seller's ad. It's always going to cost you a lot more per lead. And here's why. Because with the exception of death, divorce, and people who are moving out of state, the bulk of the people who are going to sell their home, they enter the market as a buyer first. I always say this. Nobody goes out, puts their home on the market, gets it under contract, and says, okay, I got 28 days to figure out where I'm going and what I want to buy and if I can be approved for it. No. They go into the market. They look at open houses. They look at different things that they want to buy. They look at areas that they want to buy in. They try to get approved for loans to see if they can even buy what they want. And then they start thinking about selling their home. But a bunch of things have happened in between there. What are those things? People that have trained with me that have ads, or people that have ads out like the people who have trained with me, because everybody hasn't trained with me, right? They see those ads, they hit those ads, and I guarantee you one or more of the agents that they've come across have asked one simple question. Do you have a home to sell first? Now that person has an agent to sell their house. And by the time they ever have a need to hit your seller's ad, they've already been grabbed up by an agent who has a buyer's ad just like mine running on Facebook. And the proof is exactly what Mike just told you, is those people come in through whatever ad, whether it be the open house, the new construction, or the most successful one that I see listings come through on, which is the list of homes ad. They come in looking, they want to see what's out there first before they sell their home. And then they, that agent goes, oh, you have a home to sell first. Me personally, I know there are agents out there that say, oh, I don't like to discount my deals. Whatever, whatever floats your boat. I don't care. Me as an agent, when I get a lead that says, hey, I have a home to sell first, I go, oh, great. Well, I'll tell you what, if you work with me on both of those deals, I'll sell your home for 5% instead of 6%. I'll save you a little bit of money there if you're going to do the sell and the buy with me. I do that only for one reason, to make sure that I lock up both of those deals, because I'd rather have a guaranteed 3% on the buy and 2% on the sale than maybe 3% and I lose one of the other sides, right? All right, sorry to interrupt you there, Mike, but I had to get that off my chest because a lot of people asked that question. Now, TJ Perry asked a question. TJ just trained with me. What are you, and he's been having some difficulty getting people to answer. Granted, he's only a weekend, Mike, barely a weekend. So, this goes back to what I was saying before. It gets frustrating for some people, right? When they're calling, but again, it's only been a week. So your advice to him would probably mean a lot based on like what your experiences were. But his question was directed at you. What are your typical response rates, Mike? Of 100 leads, how many actually respond and how many touches does it usually take before you get a response? So the answer he's fishing for is kind of like to what he's dealing with right now, right? He's got probably 40 or 50 leads. I'm not going to pull up his account because I don't have his permission, but he's probably got 30, 40, 50 leads at this point. He's having a tough time getting them to respond. Again, keep in mind, it's only been a week. There hasn't been a ton of touches, but what would you recommend, or what are you doing in this situation that could help him with his question?
I would keep it as basic as simple. Text that goes out, just, I wouldn't get into a whole spiel where it's long-winded. This is such and such with such and such realty. I'd be like, hey, my name is Mike. I want to make sure, is this Blake? Is this such and such person? Great. Once we get some information, you're looking for homes, can you share some specifics of what you're looking for? And my email drip that goes out kind of touches the same thing. I've given you now a large list of homes. Can you check some of these boxes for me? How many beds are you looking for? How many baths? How many garages? Because we want to get, we want to fulfill our word. If you're sending out a list of homes, you want that to get in front of them right away. Because then you fulfilled your word on the end. So
you send it whether they respond to you or not.
They get it right away. You know what? That's a large list of homes. They can get that from anybody. It doesn't matter so much, but can they get what they're looking for from everybody? Once we get that in front of them, they've got my picture in front of them, my headshot. They're able to go out then and see, okay, he did what he's going to do. He sent me a list of homes. He's asking me for more data. A lot of people are just going to ignore. A lot of people are looky-loos. That's some of it. For example, the ISA group that I'm using sent me over some data in terms of what they've had for a contact rate. Those 155 people that we've, had come in since October 8th, we've reached 122. That's 79%.
Yeah.
And, some of those are bad numbers. That's fine. People give bad numbers. Some of those are bad emails. That's fine. People, once they start clicking on stuff, they start changing data. That's fine. But once again, once you get down and away from a lot of the people that really don't want to, aren't ready to look at homes or maybe don't want to work with somebody yet, we found 27 leads that are warm. We have a couple of leads that are ready to go out and look at homes. I have a showing tonight with 2 of those people that have come in over the, the last 3 weeks, showing homes at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. It's just a matter of, just keep asking the right questions, keep doing what our job is and trying to, get under the surface. What are you looking for? Where do you need to be there? What's your time frame? How can I help you best? How many kids do you have? What is school district important to you? Just, developing that relationship with them. I think those are the main things. If you're having trouble getting a hold of them, that's going to happen. I've had leads, for days where I come in and people hang up on me and it's 10 to 20 people straight that I can't get a hold of. It's just a bad run. Sometimes you're going to get, a pre-approved lead that comes in overnight. Sometimes you're going to get a bunch of people that just throw you all the data they need and they're willing to talk to you and communicate with you. It's ebb and flow.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that information. And I'm gonna answer one question before we go back to Patrick. Please forgive me if I don't say your name right. I'm thinking it's Constantine. Safaris has a question. Any recommendations on services like Smart Auto that also calls as a part of your follow-up? I'm going to answer and not answer your question. So oddly enough, I have been working with Mike over the past couple of days. He is using an ISA service that does calls. I don't know a lot about them yet. And I told the owner of that company that I would need to know a lot more about them before I would feel comfortable pushing them out to the group. I would need to know. I would need to have, you know, technically, really, I could just use Mike's recommendation because I trust him. But what works for Mike may not work for TJ, right? I need to see a couple of different examples from different parts of the country. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Mike, but they operate on a we will work your leads, but when you close a deal, we want a certain percentage. Is that how it is, Mike?
They have two ways of doing it. One way is, if is by referral. It's 25% at the end. The other way is you can pay per lead. I think they said the first 50 leads are $7 per, or maybe first 100. And then after that per month is $5 per lead. So it's really your choice. And my understanding from talking to Shane is that you're not committed to one or the other, but you can't switch back and forth.
Gotcha.
So if you start on the referral side and then decide you want to do the pay per lead, you can, but I think it's a one-time shot.
Okay, so the short answer, Constantine, is yes, there's a service out there that could work, and the much more complicated answer is I don't know if I'm ever going to push it out to you because I need to see more data. I will know within the next 2 weeks if I will or ever may be comfortable pushing these people out to you, because again, I don't take money to push things out. They just have to work for you guys. I make my living by training you guys and getting you great results from a lead generation perspective, and then I do webinars like this for free to kind of give you information about who we are and bring on people like Mike and Raquel and Ian, who couldn't join us, and CJ, to show you people who have actively trained with me, have been with me for a while, and are doing well on the program. And also because I have trainees out there that are a year old that may not have done great and just never told me anything and never asked for any help. There's a lot of them out there, right? I want you guys to succeed. I genuinely want to see you do well. I have no monetary gain from you all after you train with me because my training is a one-time fee. So essentially, I could really just take my reviews, train you all, forget about you, move on with my life. But that's not where my heart is in this business. I want to see my own agent succeed. Raquel Reyno, again, she's going to talk to you guys after Patrick. She was a trainee well before she was an agent of mine, with Realty Solutions. But I've always been there for her, and I'll always be there for you guys. If you need anything, if you need any help, I want to see you all succeed. And again, that's why I do these webinars. That's why I spend my time putting these things together so that you all can get a really good in-depth view of how we operate and how we convert leads. And I want you all to be able to be successful doing that. And if you can't, if you're just not the type of person who can go out, pick up the phone and call a lead, then I try to find services like Smart Alto, or potentially the one that I'm going to push out to you, assuming that this ISA service works out well, to do that job for you, right? All right, guys, I am going to wrap up this session with Mike. I'm going to let Patrick take back over, continue to go over what Realty Solutions is. For those of you that have that question, I've already got messages asking for Patrick to come back and finish up the Realty Solutions, kind of what it is and what we do. Patrick, I just want to note that they've asked you to turn off your camera so it would be easier for them to look at the screen.
Thanks,
and then go back into telling them about Realty Solutions. So go ahead and take it back over.
Man, I've been looking at your ugly mug this whole time, just thinking the same thing. I wish you'd turn your camera off and just do voice only, but whatever.
I sure have a beautiful smile.
Throw the Realty Solutions agent site back up there real quick for me. All right,
Hey,
so
Patrick.
I'll make this short and sweet. What's up?
Hey, sorry to interrupt real quick. Do you want to address the question from Tim Klein in the chat?
Hey guys, I'll address that question.
Cool.
Only because of this. Just so you guys know, Tim Klein is an agent in Ohio, right, Tim? Once upon a time, back in 2003, I went to school in Waco, Texas, and Tim was my manager at Dell Computers when I first started. Just crazy how small the world is. So Tim, let me see. So what are most ads focused on? Is it general? No, Tim, I've got lots of different stuff. List of open houses, first time home buyer ads, custom ads that I write for clients, new construction, heavily price reduced, which is investor focused, second time home buyer ads, hero ads for people who like to focus on the military and giving back to first responders. And then, of course, the list of homes ad, which with my spin and the way I target and the way I design has been pretty successful. I hope I answered that question for you. And then the next question is, are these leads set to go into a database for constant follow-up and conversion? That, Tim, depends on you. It depends on what systems that you put in place. Unfortunately, there are systems like Command out there, and I say Command because I know you're with Keller Williams, or you were at one point. I was extremely excited to have Command come out because I train a lot of KW agents. And unfortunately, it wasn't exactly what they said it was when it came out. It's not ready for lead importing yet. I am looking forward to the day. So just so you guys know, I'm not bashing KW or Command. I enjoy, and it would make life much easier on me if it worked the way we need it to. And I have every bit of faith that it will. But again, Tim, most of my trainees are doing things like Conversion, Follow Up Boss, Lion Desk, and other follow-up systems like Smart Auto. They put in the middle so that they can get worked. I hope that answers your question. So Patrick, go ahead and take it away. We're going to hold off on any other questions until you finish your side.
Sounds good. All right. Well, if you want to throw that thing back up there for everybody. So I'm going to try and make this short and sweet so we can get on to like the lead gen stuff, but we'll talk about the brokerage a little bit. So for agents that are out there, it's really important when deciding what brokerage you work at or where you want to be sponsored by. What is it they offer? And I am not cocky enough to say that there is a one size fits all brokerage. Any brokerage that tells you they are the best brokerage for everybody is full of crap, because that's just not the way it is. So where you work is going to depend on, how much experience you have, what volume you're doing, where have you been before, where are your weak points, where are your strong points, and how your brokerage can help support those. So let me just start with that. Our brokerage is designed for agents that have been in at least a year, maybe 2 years, or at least have a little bit of experience, have done, maybe 5 to 10 deals. So they kind of got their feet wet. They kind of know how a deal works. And they're looking to kind of push themselves to the next level. They've got their basics down pretty well, and they just need help kind of jumping up and kind of hitting that next level. And so that's kind of what our brokerage is focused on, is kind of taking agents in that area and kind of jumping them up to the next level. But we do have several agents that are doing way more than that, but that would kind of be our ideal. So we're not ideal for brand new agents. We just don't have the infrastructure in place and set up to train brand new agents. But if you're an agent that's been around for a year or two, you've done a handful of deals, and you're kind of looking to develop your pipeline and learn how to kind of push that, that's kind of where our niche is right there. So we are a per transaction brokerage. So we charge a $4.95 fee per transaction. Doesn't matter whether the commission is $1,500 or $50,000. It's always the same fee. There's a cap that goes with that, and you can see some of that stuff here on the screen that you're looking at. All our stuff is pretty clear cut. There's no extra E&O fee. There's no desk fees. There's no tool or technology fees. There's none of that stuff. There's a $4.95. There's a once a year sponsorship fee that you pay at your first deal, and everything is included and goes with that. We offer free CE to all of our Texas agents. We're located primarily in Texas, but we do also have an operation in Las Vegas. So if you're in the Las Vegas Valley, which is kind of where I grew up, we have an operation there. Ian, who's not with us today, is one of our first agents that we brought on there. We have an in-house graphics designer. We have a swag store where you can buy print media and business cards, signs, all that kind of stuff set up. But one of the most important things that we offer that's important for me as the broker is badass broker support. I'm that no matter where, shut up, William. I would say that no matter where you go to work for a brokerage, you need to make sure that number one, you actually know who your broker is in every single state. And I do a lot of teaching. I talk to a lot of folks across the country. There are so many agents out there that have never even met their broker. They couldn't pick them out of a room, and I hate hearing that. Make sure you know who your broker is, because at the end of the day, they're ultimately responsible for all of your activities.
Yeah.
That is the same way in every single state. So make sure you know your broker, and make sure that you have a brokerage, no matter who they are, us, Realty Solutions, or somebody else. Make sure you find a brokerage that's going to work with your values, that's going to provide you the support you need. One of the things that we really benefit from here is that we aren't afraid to be, when people try to push us around. I think you could ask any of our agents what happens when people try to push us around. We're pretty good at putting other people in their place, because at the end of the day, our house is buttoned up tight. We follow the rules. Code of ethics is we adhere to that strictly. We all of our licensing rules, we stick to those. We know our contracts really well, and so when push comes to shove, we're able to shove back and be in a good spot to do it. So,
Right.
RealtySolutionsAgents.com is that website if you want to check us out. We also have this 80-20 split. It's all the same stuff, but it's a straight 80-20 split, because there are just some agents out there that are much more comfortable with a regular old split, and so that's there too for those that are more comfortable with it.
And
that's all I got as far as I'm
and guys, I'm gonna touch on a couple of things too. I just posted the Realty Solutions Agents link for those of you who are interested in both the Facebook Live and the Zoom webinar chat panels. Guys, we are not just in Texas. Patrick is our Texas broker. We are live in Nevada, specifically in the greater Las Vegas area, however they refer to it out there. We have a different broker out there. Ian Hilario is one of my trainees who got sick today. He was supposed to join us, but he just joined our brokerage yesterday. I know there have been countless Las Vegas agents that have asked me about the brokerage. We are live and ready to go. So if you are interested, just message me and we'll go from there.
William, can I make a quick comment on that?
Yes, go ahead.
Encourage people. So, a couple of things you guys want to know about the brokerage are amazing. I don't know if I caught it when he mentioned it, but there's training on scripts, training on conversion, that kind of thing. I mean, obviously, we have things that are really working. I do that personally. There's also training on the technical side. There's all kinds of support there. The broker's amazing. The technical side's amazing. The scripts and all that. So you don't have to pay separately if you want a one-on-one session with someone, which would be me in that case, to go through an hour long of training. I do that all the time for our agents, and it's phenomenal. I just wanted you to know that, because I started off my life at, I won't mention their name, I guess, but if you wanted any kind of help, it was 25%. If you wanted one-on-one training or scripts or whatever, you had to pay somebody all the time. And I just think it was really, the feedback we've gotten from the agents is really nice to know that if you need that kind of help, that you can get it, and it's just part of the deal.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. All right. So Clark Ong, feel free to message me. I don't know exactly what your question is, but I see that maybe it may not be getting answered properly. Are there healthcare? I see it now. Are there healthcare worker ads? That kind of falls under the hero ad that I do. I do a hero ad that is geared towards veterans, active military, and first responders, as well as healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, etc. But if you want more information, feel free to send me a message, and I will send you over the info on my training and what ads that I have. Guys, I know it's getting kind of late. It's hard to keep people's attention for more than an hour, but I encourage you to listen through to the end, because there is a lot of really good information coming up in the next 10 minutes. I am going to introduce to you Raquel Reyna. She started off as one of my trainees. She is now one of the agents that work with us at Realty Solutions out of Houston. She actually, just oddly enough, posted a review this morning, an updated review this morning, and she was kind enough and gracious enough. I was going to ask her to join us for this webinar, but I didn't originally because she's so busy. In fact, she's in her car right now leaving a closing. But opted to go ahead and help me out and join because Ian could not make it. So welcome, Raquel, and if you wouldn't mind, kind of tell us about your journey with, how you met me, how you ended up in the social agent to Realty Solutions, and what your results have been thus far.
I was transitioning. Well, hi, first of all. Sorry, my phone's going off crazy. So I was transitioning from Better Homes and Gardens, Gary Green, leaving a team. I didn't feel at that time was beneficial for me because I was starting to scale my business a little bit. And we met in a Facebook group, I believe, and I saw, advertising about the social agent and inquired about it. I think I enrolled in that first, and then I decided to come over as an agent for Realty Solutions in 2017. And so I believe right about December, I started kicking on your ad. And within 2 days, I had 38 leads because I am focusing on the rural part of Greater Houston, on USDA loans and et cetera. First-time home buyers is my biggest performance ad. And within those 38 leads, I put 5 people in credit repair from October to December. And my first quarter, I was closing 5. So I was like, yeah, this is unbelievable. I've been a realtor for, since 2014, and I'd never had anything that had worked so incredibly well. As long as you fed it, you followed up, you did, everything we're taught from whatever agency you go to, follow up, use your sphere of influence, etc. The most impressive part about social agent is that we look at it as like, well, it was only 4 leads, 2 leads, or 3 leads that you convert and you close. Out of one of those leads this year, I'm talking about last year when I first started social agent. This year, 2 years, I have taken the social agent leads that I've closed, and I've actually ended up getting several referrals. So I can honestly say have 6 or 7 leads that have closed based off of just the social agent ad itself. Everybody else has been referral based just because of that one closing or that, 6 closings that I have. So I will say for the past 2 years, I've become primarily referral based. I'm kicking on my ad for the 4th quarter just because we all know it's some downtime, but really starting to, gear up my 2020. And that's what really impressed me the most is that people are social butterflies. If, your humble first-time home buyers are probably your best word of mouth. And just that ad itself has just been phenomenal for me in my area, in my market. And that's what was very impressive to be 5 years in.
Can I pull up your ads manager, by the way?
Yeah. And second year being referral based primarily.
Awesome. Question, because, that's one of the things that a lot of people don't touch on, the referrals. So, everybody goes, well, just like they asked Mike, right? I got 3 leads from the social agent, but nobody talks about the referrals because the referrals they're connected, right? Because without those initial leads, you wouldn't have the referrals. How many deals would you say? And guys, just to give you an idea of how many leads she's generated since she's been using my program, it's probably, I'm looking at 4, 5, probably 6, probably somewhere around 700 to 1,000 leads across a couple of different ads. But how many deals would you say, not just direct leads, but even referrals are a direct have a direct connection to either a lead that came in or a referral from a lead in total that you've closed?
Right now, so let's say from the direct ad itself, I would say 4 to 6 a year. From a referral from the social agent lead, upwards of about 10. So
a year,
there's 3 or 4 closings, and I'm getting.
Yeah.
Yes, just off of those leads itself. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So in total, but since 2017. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Since 2017, what would you say, just a rough estimate?
What was your question?
Of closings that you've had directly related?
I would say about 25.
25.
That's very good. It's very close. And I'll give you. Go ahead.
No, I'm just looking at the numbers. I'm thinking to myself, like, guys, if you think about from a monetary perspective, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but just on this one ad, she spent $2,278.86. 25 closings, roughly. And Raquel is one of the very few agents with us that actually caps every single year. I would imagine that it's probably more than that. But let's just say it was 20 at a $6,000 commission. Do the math on that, guys. The ROI is phenomenal, right? But it does not come without lack of focus and lack of follow-up and lack of just being aggressive and doing it. Raquel has no problem dropping everything and calling 50 people and talking to them. She has no problem getting told to piss off. And you know what? That's okay. Move on. When people curse at me on the phone, I'm the same way. I don't care. Like, I don't get upset and get discouraged. I look at that as, okay, thank you. You let me know that I shouldn't waste my time calling you anymore, and I move on to the next one, right? But there are people out there that are just afraid to call. They're not phone salespeople. They're very timid on the phone, and that's why follow-up systems exist. Guys, like, look, as much as I love Hassan and I love Smart Auto, if Smart Auto is not your cup of tea, find something that is, right? That should tell you all you need to know about that right there, right? Is he being paid to push Smart Auto? No. If you don't like Smart Auto and it just ain't working for you, find something that does. But doing nothing will get you nothing. You have to work your leads. You have to work your leads. You have to nurture and work your leads. Period.
William, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
William, I want to say something. I want to say something really quick. I just recently closed another social agent lead in August, and she was so humble, so grateful. She was like, "I'm going to refer you out to everyone. I mean, your lender, you just make a magnificent team, whatever." Right now, as we speak, in SkySlope, I am closing 4 transactions because of her. So right now, where are we at? October, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those came from that one social agent lead, and I'm scheduled to close.
So one lead that cost you
already.
about $4 to generate, you're going to get probably about.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at Texas averages, guys. I mean, 25 to 30K in commission is probably what she's looking at. Like, think about that. And guys, you just have to work your leads. All I can tell you is that Raquel is very aggressive when she works her leads. She doesn't have a follow-up system in place. She doesn't use Smart Auto. At least I don't think you do. Do you? She works her leads on her own. She always has.
I try.
Yeah.
William,
So,
let me say something real quick.
yeah.
So I'm gonna do what do you call an add a girl, whatever, for Raquel, because Raquel is your ideal salesperson, period. And for me as a broker, she's the ideal agent because she's not afraid to hustle. And you guys have got to understand, everybody watching, and this isn't just a lead generation thing or a, how do we get more business, but sales in general is going to be a job that you are going to get out of it what you put in. And if you're putting a lot in and not getting very much out, there's a problem with what you're putting in, and you need to get some training, some coaching, some education on how to take your input and better utilize it so that your output goes up. I talk to agents all the time who are concerned, like, I'm not converting, I got no business, I'm struggling to pay bills. This is my only income. And my question is always, well, how many hours a day do you spend lead generating and following up? Well, I spend about 6 or 7 hours a week. Well, what are you, if this is your sole income, this is where you make your money, this is how you feed your family, all right, then wake up at 5 a.m., okay, work out, have a good meal, and by 7 a.m., you need to be pounding the pavement, and you pound it for the next 12 hours to make things happen. You cannot be afraid to work after hours. You cannot be afraid to be turned down. You can't be afraid to fail. You've got to get out there, and you've got to grind. And as far as atta girls go, I will say this, Raquel, you grind harder than almost anybody I know when it comes to being an agent, which is in a large part is why you were so successful, in addition to just being really good at what you do. So I'm gonna throw that one out there, and that's all I had to say. Just a reminder to everybody, you gotta grind. It's just the way it is.
Hey.
No way to be successful without doing that, period.
Hey, real quick, William.
Yep.
Hey, do you mind if I role play with like Raquel or with you real quick? I think that this just came to me, but I think that a lot of people can get some value to just a quick way that I personally take a phone call when a lead first comes in, and then what I do when I call them. Mind if I take like 2 minutes real quick?
Sure. Follow me.
Cool. You want to answer the questions for me?
Sure.
Cool. So, hey guys, real quick, just introduce myself. My name is Luis Garibay, Assistant Sales Director for Lead Source Management, moderator for the Social Agent Group. I am a full-time real estate agent here in Oregon. Actually, just recently got bumped up to top 8% in my MLS, and I've only been in business for about 3.5 years. So I don't say that to toot my own horn, but to
Sure you
Patrick's point, I've got a family to feed. I've got a wife and 3 kids. I'm a sole income provider, so I know that I have to make stuff happen. So there's a lot of fear and hesitation when it first comes in, and I had that as well myself when I first started. So this is exactly what happens when I take a phone call and I call somebody. So I'm just gonna act like I'm calling you, William. Ring, ring.
What do you want?
Hey, is this William?
Yes, it is.
Hey, William. This is Luis Garibay with Keller Williams. How you doing today?
Good, man. How can I help you?
Hey, perfect. Hey, I just seen that you clicked on my ad on Facebook about our home buyer benefits program, and I wanted to reach out and get you some information.
Okay.
Perfect. So tell me a little bit. Are you a first-time buyer, or are you looking to replace a home and upgrade or downgrade?
No, we're moving up. We're selling our first home and getting another one.
Okay, perfect. So you need to sell your first home and then buy a new one?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Great. Well, just to let you know, I can actually help with both of those for you. I do help sellers and buyers, so that's great to know. And I can certainly get you some information about that. Tell me a little bit about what you're looking for in your next home. That way I can tell you what program would be best that's available right now. Like how many beds, how many baths, what location you're looking for.
We're looking for 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, at least a half an acre. And we're trying to keep it under 100,000. No, I'm just kidding. 300,000.
Okay, perfect. So 4 bed, 3 bath, about a half an acre, and under 300.
300 or under. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Is there any other special amenities or anything like that you're looking for?
We'd like to have a HOA, and we would like to have a swimming pool in our neighborhood.
Swimming pool. Okay. You just don't want to deal with all the maintenance and stuff like that on your own property?
That's right.
I don't blame you there, man. I don't blame you. Okay, cool. So there's lots of different loan programs available, and honestly, there's so many, and they're easy to qualify for. Do you mind if I ask you a few personal questions just to kind of tailor this and see which one would be best fit for you?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So your job, have you been employed for longer than 2 years?
Yes, I have.
Okay, perfect. And then your credit, do you know where that sits right now?
I don't, but we'll have to see. Hey, Luis, we're gonna have to cut the session off. We're kind of dipping on the numbers and the things running off too far. Guys, what we'll do is I'll record a mock-up. This was kind of a good kind of just to kind of show you how Luis opens up a call, and then where the conversation goes from there, because that is pretty typical of how it would go. I will actually commit to recording that with Luis and posting it in the group so you guys can see a real kind of mock-up without me joking and stuff like that.
Perfect.
Guys, so I know it's been long. This has been a long webinar. There's been a lot of information, and as a result, we're losing some live viewers. So let me get the rest of this information out to you because this stuff is important. And of course, anybody who did not stay can always go back, and I'm sure they will come back and watch the rest of the webinar after. The last few things that I have to cover are about the social agent, LSM, and the differences. So again, for those of you who missed it in the beginning, the social agent, if you are a small team or a solo agent, you're looking to control your own marketing. It's a one-time fee. It teaches you how to control your own marketing, build ads, and do this on your own, as well as I will set up ads, an ad or ads for you, depending on which package you choose. to get you off and running with your lead generation. That's what you see a lot of the reviews on in the group. Now, LSM started off as a company that was focused on going after like solo agents or really anyone, helping you with your lead gen. But as we've kind of grown with LSM over the last couple of quarters, the needs have changed. I think we will continue to offer our solo agent services, but our focus is going to move to mostly bigger teams. LSM is going to be a better fit for bigger teams and bigger brokerages. We have a couple of people that are already on these packages, and we have many more that are going to join. You guys know I've trained 17,000 plus people. I've made a lot of connections. I work with a lot of bigger brokerages and bigger brokerage owners right now. So here's what that's going to be. We are not aiming to just be a lead generation service for bigger teams and bigger brokerages. We want to really, and I know as crazy as this sounds, or as familiar as this sounds, as you may hear it from someone else, this is what we're going to offer. We will teach you to use the lead program that we set you up with to recruit, because it's a great recruiting tool. Agents want leads. They want to be with the brokerage or the team that's generating not just a lot of leads, but quality leads, right? And we know what we generate. Some areas are tougher, of course, but that's nothing training can't fix. And we will teach your agents how to utilize this, not only to close those deals, but to get referrals. We will train your agents on site. Either myself and a combination of Luis, Stefan, or Patrick will come on site, and we will train your agents in person on how to use the program. When you sign up for an LSM package like that, I will train all of your agents personally. So the social agent training, I would do a mass webinar with all of your agents, and I will show them how to create their own ads. What does that do? That puts your agents out there in the marketplace, generating leads for themselves, which in turn generates more business for your team or for your brokerage. Helps you grow. I'm giving you that just to give you guys an idea. If you have 50 agents, that's $100,000 worth of training. Okay, because my average, depending on what package you go with me, my training could be as little as $700-800 all the way up to $3,000, right? So my average ticket is $2,000. So training 50 of your agents is with what I would give them for this would be equivalent to $100,000 worth of training. Let me see. So LSM is also working on and will rebrand or refresh all of your social media outlets as a result of you signing up, should you need it. And we will also work with your agents to do the same, to get them compliant and to get their social media platforms in proper shape to properly represent you and your brand. There are lead guarantees on all of our packages. So if you're spending $2,500 a month or $5,000 a month or whatever the case is, you will get a guaranteed amount of leads. A lot of our clients will get more than the guarantee. We don't promise you that. We just promise you that certain number of leads, but typically we do generate a bit more. We will push fresh content to your business pages or your social media pages. So what does that mean? If you have Instagram, if you have Facebook, if you have LinkedIn, things like that, we will connect those to software that we have here, and we will push out fresh content so that you don't have to personally worry about constantly updating your social media platforms. We will do that for you as a part of that larger team and broker package with LSM. Also, Stefan and Patrick, or myself and Patrick, I'll be honest with you guys. If you're really far away, I probably won't fly out there because I don't fly. I drive. I don't like planes. It is what it is. So it'll either be Stefan or Patrick, Luis and Patrick, me, or whoever, depending on where you are. Our goal is to take over, again, as your digital marketing department. That should and will result in a massive growth rate for your business because of the training that we are going to provide. It'll also alleviate you from having to focus on these tasks so that you can focus on other business development opportunities and income producing opportunities, things that help you grow your business so that you're not in the trenches. And I'm going to use this. I hate giving Patrick credit because I just hate giving him credit, but he uses this analogy all the time. He tells me, because I focus so much on my trainees and doing all the little small things that they need. I've started to hire people for help for that. But one of the things he always tells me is, I need you working on the business instead of in the business. That's what we are aiming to do for you all. The goal is to get you guys working on the business and not in the business. Let us help you do that. Let us generate those leads. Let us show you how to recruit via that lead program. Let us teach your agents for you so that you don't have to hire somebody full-time to do that. I mean, the training that we provide as a part of these packages is worth more than the monthly fee alone. And to top it off, we're giving you leads and we're offering you a follow-up platform as a part of that. All of these things you have to have if you want to be successful. Now, with that said, if you are a team that feels like you're big enough that you don't need just the personal training, you want to move up. If you're a bigger broker and you want to find out more about the new LSM, then go to this website. I'm going to post it. Sorry, I'm going to post it in the group. I'm going to post it in the chats. It's Grow, GROW, with WITH, LSM.com. Go to those websites. I'm actively posting this stuff in the group and on the live chat right now. www.growwithlsm.com. That is not our main website. That is, I asked Patrick to put this together last night, to be completely honest with you. All it is a Google form, name, email, phone number, so that we can reach out to you to talk to you a little bit more about the broker program if you want. So if you're interested in that, growwithlsm.com. If you forget this or you miss it, just message me and I'll send it to you, or ask in the group and I'll send it to you. Now, I am going to close this off because it's been a while. This has been a long webinar. I hope you guys found the information relevant and helpful. We will post this up on YouTube and I'll post it in the group. The next link that I am going to post, guys, I like to avoid using names, is about the Big Z. Okay. I'm posting it in the chat right now and on the live, the Facebook Live in the group. It is a link that Patrick also posted today. So you can see it posted in the group right now. It's about the Zillow conference and the things that took place in there. I didn't write the article. I don't know, you fact check it on your own, but the source is pretty good. It's just to kind of show you of some of the things that are coming up that are going to change with the Big Z and how it's going to affect you, which should really give you an eye-opening experience or an eye-opening kind of example of why you need to be able to control your own marketing. Okay. Just like R.com, I'm going to avoid saying their name. When they bought a certain company, they transitioned you guys from having paid leads that you can control your commission on to forcing you to pay them 20 to 40% to give you leads. You guys didn't like that. I know you didn't, because I got tons of messages when it happened, and it happened like that overnight. And that's what's happening here. Online lead generation and the face of lead generation is changing as you know it. You either need to get on the train or you are going to get left behind. Again, guys, if you have any questions for me, please let me know. I apologize to anybody else on this webinar who needed to talk or had things to say, but I think we've just kind of run too far over. So we need to go ahead and cut it off here. Again, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, things that didn't get answered for you or things that I may have missed, please let me know. I know there's a lot of questions about LSM right now. just go to www.growwithlsm.com. Fill it out. Luis, Stefan, or one of my other sales agents will get with you. If you have a question that pertains to me or Patrick, feel free to message us and we will answer those questions. I sincerely appreciate you guys being with us here today, and all of my trainees, the thousands of trainees all over the country, the guys who have and men and women that have stuck by me throughout the 3 years and have had faith in my system and what we do here every day. I appreciate you guys very, very much. I hope you have a great Halloween with your kids. If you have kids, have a great Thanksgiving and Christmas if we don't speak before, or happy holidays or whatever you call it. Thank you again. And I am going to go ahead and end the webinar now. You guys have a great day.